Viewer Kiker the Hiker gave me this video suggestion. Acceptable backpack weights and tips to lower total weight without spending too much. So let's start with acceptable backpack weights. You'll hear figures like carry no more than 20% of your body weight or 10 pounds base weight is ultralight. These are useful sanity checks. If you weigh 180 pounds, then certainly a 54-pound pack, 30% of your body weight, is a bit much. The only real answer to what's acceptable is whatever you're comfortable carrying without injuring yourself. For me, that's around 35 pounds, which is about 20% of my body weight. But no one can decide this for you. There is this universal truth, though. A lighter load is easier to carry than a heavier one. For older hikers, that means less stress on our bodies. Now, as usual, I won't be recommending specific gears or brands. Instead, let's look at 8 principles for reducing pack weight and 1 or 2 examples for each. I couldn't possibly make an exhaustive list that would apply to everyone, so I'd rather talk about ideas for pack weight reduction. Principle number 1, maximize dual-use items. There's 2 ways equipment can be dual-use, either by design or by your own creativity. Classic design dual-use is the trekking pole tent. If you're already carrying trekking poles, and you probably are if you're considering one of these tents, then it's fair to leave them out of the calculation when comparing shelter weight. I have one tent that weighs 24 ounces or 670 grams, and another just under 3 pounds or 1.3 kilograms. The lighter one uses trekking poles, but I carry those anyway, so it's fair to count it as half the weight of the heavier tent, despite needing poles. Finding your own dual use is where creativity comes in. Some hikers use their clothes in a stuffed sack as a camp pillow. Doesn't work for me, but it could for you. I use a pack liner rather than a pack cover, and that liner is also my emergency bear hang bag. My clothesline is my bear hang rope, and it's long enough to serve both purposes at the same time when necessary. When I'm in a town and need to launder my clothes, I wear my rain suit so I won't get arrested. Use your creativity and experience to look for ways to use items in your pack for multiple purposes. Principle number 2, look for lighter options for the same function, and don't go beyond your needs. As an example, there are many different water treatment options, and each one has its pluses and minuses. A Sawyer Squeeze is lightweight and compact, and it's very popular on many trails. Compare that to a purifier that costs much more and is much heavier. Chlorine dioxide is lighter still, and on short trips may be worth considering if you can afford the wait time and the greater cost per liter of treated water. If you're in an area where there are few virus outbreaks, a purifier may exceed your need. A poncho may be as good as a full rain suit depending on the weather conditions you expect. For cooking, consider right-sizing your fuel carry. Round up when in doubt, but don't carry a 450-gram supply for a canister stove if you're only going to be out a few days. Principle number 3, think substitutions. Can a lighter item serve your purpose? I had an epiphany when I was out on a New England trail. I came across a nice stream on a hot day, but I just couldn't bring myself to get into the stream in my hiking pants. The hassle of drying them in humid weather just wasn't worth it to me. That's when I realized that hiking in swim trunks is the same thing as hiking in shorts with these bonuses. The trunks replace both the hiking shorts and underwear. They dry quickly, and I personally have no qualms about getting them wet. When I hiked the 100-mile wilderness in Maine, I made it a point to take a dip every single day while I was out there, and I succeeded. I hiked in swim trunks the whole way. Not a Speedo style suit. Sorry if I made you picture that. Principle number 4. Think in terms of systems, not individual items. For cooking, consider both the stove and the fuel. When I used a solid fuel stove, I found it needed a windscreen and a reflector. The fuel adds up quickly. The hexamine tablets are tough to find, so I packed for an entire trip. For an isobutane propane stove, the fuel is much lighter per boil, even with the weight of the canister, and no windscreen is needed. For longer trips, my heavier jet boil is actually the lighter choice. For shelter, consider how a hammock may allow you to use a smaller insulated pad when compared to a tent. But also consider how you'll store your equipment overnight and whether that requires extras for hanging equipment and protecting your pack from weather and rodents. Your shelter and your sleeping equipment all play together, so don't look at them in isolation. Principle number 5, leave optional parts of your equipment behind. For example, I use a Platypus Gravity feed water filter. It comes with a dirty bag for holding unfiltered water and a clean bag for filtering into. The idea is that several people can get water from the clean bag as needed. But when I'm alone, I don't need the clean bag. I filter directly into my water bladder and the bottles I carry. The clean bag stays home, saving me about 4 ounces or 110 grams. Principle number 6, track your usage. After each hike, take an honest look back. Were there any items that you never touched? Consider leaving them home next time. Were there any items that you used simply because you had them? What would have been the worst outcome if you hadn't brought them? If it's not serious, consider leaving them home also. I found that I use far less hand sanitizer than I usually bring with me. A little goes a long way, so now I can carry less than I have been. Did you bypass a lot of streams because you had plenty of water? Water is the heaviest thing you're likely to carry. If you can start with 2 liters instead of 3, you save 2 pounds, though you'll have to stop more often to fill up. As shown in this chart, carrying 3 liters, drinking it down, and refilling once means you carry an average of 3.3 pounds. Starting with 2 liters and refilling twice in the same amount of time means an average of 2.2 pounds. That's over a pound, a half a kilogram saving continuously. Now, this can be tricky. Going into an area where you're not familiar with the water supplies or suspect conditions will be particularly dry, your best bet may be to carrying a bit more water. Principle number 7, don't compromise on safety. Never put yourself at unreasonable risk to save a few ounces. I have videos on these topics, but it bears repeating. A cell phone is not a substitute for a headlamp. A simple first aid kit can keep small problems from becoming big problems. A tracker can be a lifeline in an emergency. Always have some rain protection. And of course, treating backcountry water is a must. Principle number 8, acquire ultralight equipment. When all your best efforts applying these first 7 principles are exhausted, then consider buying lighter gear. This runs afoul of the only condition of the suggestion, without spending too much. Not all ultralight equipment is expensive, but most of it is. As a bonus, a lot of ultralight equipment is less rugged than heavier equipment. If a tent manufacturer requires the use of a 1-pound footprint to keep the warranty in force, that's a problem. If you do decide to buy some ultralight equipment, be aware of total weight. What the item commits you to bring along, not just the advertised weight. Some tent designs require the use of stakes that are not included in either the cost or the weight. Buy ultralight only if you can afford it and you know what you're getting. If you keep these 8 principles in mind, you can develop your own weight savings ideas. If you have any ideas that have worked well for you, please share them in the comments so we can all learn from each other. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this or other topics you'd like me to cover. And if you haven't seen this video, please take a look at it now. Thanks for watching.